Hey guys, I'm literally here sitting in my sports bra and underwear right now. I just ate breakfast. And I look all kinds of a wreck right now because I'm going to get into my 37-week pregnancy update in the next clip because I gotta leave to go to my 37-week midwife appointment in 15 minutes. But I just wanted to pop on here and capture the glory of this face I have right now because last night was hell on earth. I feel like the last time I can say I had a true headache was 24 years ago. Like the last time I really remember having a real headache was when I was in 9th grade, when I was like 14 or 15. Until last night, and I got a true headache, and it was here, and it was throbbing, and I could not escape my body, and there's nothing I could take for it. I didn't know what to do. I was like, should I go to the hospital? Like, it was not that bad, but it was just constant and unrelenting, and I couldn't sleep. And on top of that, I was getting woken up by contractions all throughout the night before that, and then during it. And so I was just in a world of pain. But I got up and I took a bath, and like I tied a towel around my head really tight to put pressure on my skull, and that seemed to help. But then I had the brilliant idea at 5 o'clock in the morning to take half a dose of Unisom, which like a third of a dose is a lot for me. So a half a dose. And then at 5 a.m. was aggressive because now I am exhausted. My headache is gone, but I called in sick to work today and I tried going to the gym to like shake off this hangover because I got to get it together and get to my midwife appointment. And it didn't work. And then my blood sugar crashed. So I came in here and ate, and I'm just trying to like achieve homeostasis in my body right now. I can't. Anyway, so this is just a clip, real life in the day of a hot mess mom who's 37 weeks pregnant. But let me go to this midwife appointment. When I come back, we'll talk about symptoms. We'll talk about what's going on. We'll talk about my midwife appointment. And I'm also going to talk about what my postpartum plan is for this baby. So stay tuned for that. Hey guys, I am slightly more put together right now. I'm still so tired. I'm so tired. But let's do a 37-week pregnancy update, midwife appointment update. And then I said I was going to talk about how I was going to approach postpartum this time. I'm not talking about that right now because it seems pretty trivial in relation to some other things that happened in my midwife appointment. So I'm going to talk about postpartum later. I just don't want to talk about it right now. In terms of pregnancy update, the Braxton Hicks / prodromal labor that I have been experiencing has continued. I will say that not last night, but the night before and the night before that, I had 2 really good evenings and nights where I hardly got any Braxton Hicks at all. And I didn't get anything in the evening. Like I maybe got 1 or 2 contractions at night that might have woken me. I mean, it's all a blur because I sleep pretty deeply right now, but nothing to complain about. And I genuinely thought that maybe the prodromal labor thing was behind me. And I will say I also am not getting as many Braxton Hicks during the day as I have been getting in previous days, you know, around like the 36-week time frame. But I am still getting them. And then last night, like I told you guys, was hell on wheels with the headache and with the contractions. And they're very prodromally. And what I mean by that is, like, I've had to Google it to see what is the difference between Braxton Hicks and prodromal labor. And I'll save that for you guys to Google on your own. But basically, like, these contractions that I get in the evenings and throughout the night are rhythmic, and they are painful, not anything like actual for real labor contractions, but they're not just Braxton Hicks. They're not just tightening and pressure. They come with menstrual-like cramps and aches with my back. The back pain radiates to the front, that kind of thing. And they are well enough to wake me up out of a deep sleep. It kind of feels like a Charlie horse, just like how you might get an arm cramp or a leg cramp that wakes you up, like jolts you out of a deep sleep. That's sort of how these are. So those continue on, and like this morning and all throughout today, I have just had such enormous pelvic pressure. Like, it just feels like I have a human head right there. I am having just the full-on waterworks down there, TMI, whatever. You guys are here for a pregnancy update, you're in for it. But like the whole CM discharge situation, things are clearing out. And on that topic, the bowels continue to clear out. I'm in this really weird spin cycle of either I'm getting bad constipation. I've been really regular for like the past several months. And I think that's because I've been eating so many vegetables in my diet. I've just added a ton of vegetables into my diet over the course of the past several months. I have been eating more carbs, like a lot more carbs lately. So I think that's been sort of stopping my belly up. But then at the same time, I go through these periods of either like constipation or just full on clearing out. You know, everything is very confusing in my body right now. I have been starving this past week, you guys. I have not experienced, listen, the last time I experienced this degree of hunger was when I was like ending a cut diet. I was starting to reverse and I started taking ashwagandha supplements. I don't know why ashwagandha had this effect on me, but it took my appetite and it multiplied it by 10 and then put it on steroids. Like, that is how I feel every single moment of the day. I'm hungry. I wake up 1,000 trillion times to pee at night, okay? My bladder is about this big. And I'm talking like I am constantly having to go just little bits of pee because I have no capacity in my bladder. Anyway, that's another symptom. But every time I go up in the middle of the night to pee, all I can think about is, I really want to eat. Like, I hear my stomach growl. I want to just go to the fridge and sit down and eat an entire bowl of cereal. Like, and I haven't. I've fought the urge because, another little like side note thing, I have now finally noticed that if I eat too late at night, I can get a little acid reflux. So I know that if I were to get up and like eat something in the middle of the night, it would just set my throat on fire, so it's not worth it. But I wake up hungry, I go to bed hungry, and I'm hungry everywhere in between. And I am definitely enjoying it. I've been like unabashedly eating this past week. Pelvic pressure, yes. Lightning crotch, yes. I will say that my pelvic floor and all of that pain and discomfort I've been feeling for months when I sit down to pee is completely gone. So thank you, Midwife. I have modified all of my workouts. I've taken out the lifts and the movements that she told me to, and that did it. You know, I feel totally normal down there. I don't feel super tight. I don't feel really fatigued at the end of the day. Everything feels very balanced on my pelvic floor. So that's a really good thing. In terms of fetal movement, my baby, up until the last 24 hours at least, he has moved with the same degree of frequency, but it's been so subdued. It's a lot more gentle. It is still like the pushing and the rolling and stuff, but a lot of it is just very light movements, nothing crazy. But the past 24 hours, he has been like pretty psycho and super active. And I don't know if it's his shoulder or what, but something is resting or pushing against my pubic bone from the inside out. And it's not that it hurts, but it feels so unnatural and just a lot of pressure there. Like I have someone's shoulder sort of like shoving up against my pubic bone from the inside out. It's a very odd feeling. For labor prep, by this point, I would have been well into eating the 6 dates a day, drinking the red raspberry leaf tea, that kind of thing. I do drink the occasional glass of red raspberry leaf tea, maybe like once every couple of days, mostly just because I really like the taste of it. But as a practice, I'm holding off on doing any of that until 38 weeks because I already know I'm almost completely effaced. And I don't need any more toning of the uterus other than like the workout it's getting every day with all of these Braxton Hicks and stuff. So I'm just not, I don't want to like exacerbate the issue. So I'm just waiting with that stuff until 38 weeks. I have, however, started back up with colostrum expressing. And I have days where I get up to 4 mils a day, which is amazing. That fills two 2-milliliter syringes for me. And then I have days where I only get like 1.5, sometimes 2. I average about 2 to 3 a day, but I have been getting more days of getting 3 to 4 versus 1 to 2, but it varies. And I'm not quite sure why, because I drink the same amount, I eat the same amount. It's just fluctuations, I guess, in my body. Before we jump into the midwife appointment, let's just do a quick fitness macros weigh-in like I always do. For fitness, I have been lifting 4 days a week. Once again, doing my modified routines, everything is going good. And then I walk for an hour, 5 days a week on my treadmill at lunch. That's going fine. Everything is going really good there. Oh man, this kid is active. In terms of macros, I'm not tracking at all whatsoever, like nothing. I'm just eating intuitively. I've been starving. I'm here for it. I'm not restricting anything. I'm just eating. I'm trying to be a little better about making sure I get protein at each meal because right now I am favoring carbohydrates. But otherwise, I'm just doing what feels good for my body right now. In terms of weigh-in, the day I turned 37 weeks, I weighed in at 74.5 kilo. I didn't take a screenshot of that day. This morning I weighed in at 74.35 kilo. So I'm sort of in the 74.5 range. So it seems like I'm up, what is that? Like about a kilo, 3/4 of a kilo from last week, which is really good. It's good that I'm actually finally putting on weight because last week I had lost. So I'm happy about that. Now let's talk about the midwife appointment. I did not get a lot of my stats from her because I had asked her to print out my patient journal so that I could show you guys my growth curve. And so I didn't write down any of the values she told me, but then like basically long story short, I forgot to get the printout from her. So she took my blood sugars and my iron, and I know that they were normal. I just don't know what those values were. She took my blood pressure this morning, and it was actually the highest blood pressure reading I personally have ever had in my adult life, which was 100/69. I know that's like nothing, like that's normal for most people, I think, but that is abnormally high for me. But she said that in terms of the headache I had this morning, that blood pressure would not have caused the headache. So there's nothing to worry about in terms of like preeclampsia or anything like that. And I have no swelling and no other symptoms, and the headache has gone away. So she just thinks it was one of those normal pregnancy things that just happened. It just happened. But that was my blood pressure. I do know that the baby's heart rate was 135. She said he sounds great. He's moving around a lot. Baby seems to be quite happy right now. But then she measured my belly. And from weeks 25 to 33, every time I went in, my belly, my fundal height, was measuring 3 to 4 weeks ahead. Okay, we've been over this a bunch of times in my videos. At my 35-week appointment last time, it went from being 3 to 4 weeks ahead to 1 week behind. So I was 35 weeks, but I was measuring 34 weeks. Okay, and then this time at my 37-week appointment, I was still measuring 34 weeks. So now I'm measuring 3 weeks behind, and my belly is not growing like at all. And so this was enough of a concern to my midwife that she has ordered a growth scan. So it looks like I'm going to be getting a growth scan. If it's not one thing, it's another, you guys. Like, wanting a growth scan because he's too big, and now I guess I need a growth scan because everything is looking too small. However, she told me that his head is now fixed and engaged in the pelvis, which I could have told you because, like I said, I feel like my cervix is down to my ankles at this point. So I'm hoping that the reason that my belly has not grown is just because he's so low. Because I'll show you guys pictures, like the entire top half of my torso is totally empty, okay? I mean, this boy is just very, very low. And I cannot believe that my anatomy is still closed enough to be holding him in, because there's just always so much pressure and I'm having so many contractions and he's sitting so low and now he's engaged and I've already lost my mucus plug and I have all of the soft signs of labor. But yet here we are. So I'm hoping that that's the reason why things have flattened out on my curve. But I will show you guys a bump shot in a minute just to show you my belly. In fact, I'll show you some, like, a really cute video I took at the bathroom today at my midwife, because yeah, I feel like my belly's massive. Like, how are you telling me that this belly is measuring 3 weeks behind? I don't know. But the hospital will be calling me sometime in the next few days to schedule an ultrasound to occur sometime in the next few days. And so we will get to have another scan, and that's really super exciting. But otherwise, it seems like everything is really good. Like, baby's down low, he's a bullet in the chamber ready to come out, and my body is practicing the motions, and I'm getting those soft signs that things are occurring. So I'm hoping that if there is any reason why my belly would be measuring small, such as having low amounts of fluid, if there was any reason they needed to induce me, that I have a pretty favorable situation now, that it should be a pretty seamless process, but we will just have to wait and see. I don't know what's going to happen, but I will be back to film my next update once I do this scan. So stay tuned for that. Let's do a bump shot. And this is what my belly looks like from the front, and here it is from the side. This is all empty up here. He's super low. And here is from the other side. Without clothes, here it is. I still don't have stretch marks yet, but my belly, especially around my belly button, has been so intensely itchy. My boobs have been itchy. Like, I just feel like at any moment, I could look down and end up having stretch marks around my belly button. I just have all the classic signs of the itchiness and the stretching and stuff. So it's a day-by-day thing. Who knows? They might come and get me. They might be coming for me right now, you guys. But so far, I don't have any skin changes yet that I have noticed. Nothing new there. So we'll just see what happens. But that is 37 weeks for now. I will be back as soon as I get that scan to give you guys the update on that. Otherwise, one day at a time, just keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Keep my little guy in your thoughts and prayers. And hopefully we get through the end gracefully, okay? So, see you guys soon.